What's up, guys? My name is Nick from ROK, a music review, and this is the ROK weekly music review. We're wrapping up, recapping everything that I covered and everything that I heard and saw and stuff about K-pop over the last 7 days. As always, this is going to be coming out on Sunday, but this one is a day late because yesterday was my mom's birthday, so we were celebrating that. So that is, the stuff and the things. We got a bunch of segments, a bunch of cool things lined up and planned, and, hopefully some good discussion and stuff to come out of it. So, we got a bunch of segments, and let's just basically get into the first one, which is going to be questions and answers. And I don't specifically have any questions that anybody submitted for this because, one, I didn't ask before I thought to record this, and two, you haven't posted them in the comments yet for the next one. So if you got any questions, whether it's relating to K-pop or, personal life questions and stuff that you want to know about me, that you want to hear me answer in the next week's little video, weekly review, put them down in the comments and I will add them to my list. And so that's going to be that. But I do have a question, and it is one that came from the live chat that I had on Saturday, which was a ton of fun, except for the fact that my internet was just not cooperating with me for most of it. So the video was, pretty bad and just lagging constantly. Not to mention I had some connection issues, which played a part as well. But the question that I got during that, which I answered, but I will answer it here as well, which I wasn't expecting to get this question. It was a question that I 100% would not have expected to get this week. And that is, do you think that Girls' Generation, or SNSD as it was phrased, do you think that SNSD should disband? And I think that's an interesting question. So first off, I just want to say, whatever your answer to that question is, I want to hear your opinion on whether or not they should disband as a group or not. And interestingly, and here's my side here's my answer to that question, and you can discuss it and we can discuss it and all that stuff, of course, in the comments or on social media. And my answer to that is that, not necessarily they shouldn't disband, but I do think that since they've been inactive as a group for essentially all of last year, that this is the year that SM better have something planned, whether that's a single or something. They gotta have some sort of promotions, at least one song, one promotion period that they're active as a group this year, before I would definitely say that it's just time to just say that the group is finished and they're done. And I mean, and I get that it's more complicated than that, just because there's contracts involved and stuff, but honestly, they've got a contract with SM Entertainment, and I personally, as I said in the live stream, I really don't want the group to go down the road that 21 has, where they were inactive, and who knew if the group was actually going to be ever coming out with a new song or not, until not hearing anything from YG as the company either. So just fans completely in the dark, wanting the group to make a comeback, not knowing if they ever were. And then, of course, it never happened, and then they've disbanded. So I think that it would be good for SM to just not put their fans through that, and then, just end it. And, they don't, of course, with their contracts, I would assume that are signed with SM Entertainment, that, they would be able to say the group, dissolve the group, and then they can focus on individual promotions, on whatever it is that they want to do. If they all want to continue to do music, then you can have 8 different solo acts that are coming out of that group, which would be cool. Or a couple of them could do music, a couple could do acting, they could do all kinds of other different things. That would be an interesting thing. So I think just the very basis, or just the very quick and easy simple answer for that is not necessarily right now. If they don't have a promotion period for this year, then I think that it might be something to consider for the sake of the fans. Also to actually get the members of the group some activity and some work, because I don't know what they've been doing, but as far as I know, and as far as the fans of the group know, they haven't had any work. So that is really that's the only question, that's the only answer that I've got. And like I said, if you want to hear more question and answer, or more questions that you want to hear me answer and stuff like that, just drop them in the comments and I will, hit them up. Also too, I have a Patreon page, and this is a perk that you get on a specific, tier of patronage, is that depending on however much it is, that any questions that you ask of me through Patreon as a patron, then you are guaranteed to have them answered. Because of course, at some points, being super ambitious and having lofty goals here, that my audience is going to be massive, and I'm not going to be able to answer every single question that I get every single week. So if you're a patron, then your questions are guaranteed to be answered. So if you're interested in doing that, of course, it's up to you. It's a choice. There's a link to my Patreon page down below. Your monthly contribution towards the channel to help grow and make this sustainable and bigger in the future. So if that's something you're interested in and getting your questions guaranteed to be answered, just follow that link and do your thing if you want to. You're not being forced to do that. Okay, so now that we got questions and answers out of the way, we're gonna introduce a brand new segment to the series, to the show, basically, which I'm gonna call the flop of the week. And of course, flop in K-pop is like a group releases a song and they bomb. They don't even succeed. It's just bad. And so in this context, it's kind of like that. Not necessarily, we're not really going to use it to trash a group so much, but it's just going to be, the fail of the week. And so the fail of the week for this week involves myself and some people out in the Twitter sphere. And, I am involved in this because I asked a question on Twitter about the fact I asked my question, which is deleted now. It's just the whole situation was something I wanted to get away from. So I asked the question to people, like, if anybody finds it a little suspicious or strange or weird or whatever, that the Goodbye song from 21 is a song that was written by CL for her to release in the United States, that YG decided was a better fit as a farewell song from 21. And I got a couple people. I upset CL fan girl and her nameless followers, or faceless followers, I should say, because it always seems that the crazy people, that the stans always have that their avatar is never their actual face, I don't think, but it's always the K-pop idol that they will fanatically defend to the end. Anyway, so that got some people, a little aggravated, because apparently they don't see whatever. We don't really need to go into it, but I posed a harmless little question out there to get an idea of what people think and what people are feeling, and I got answers, both good and bad. But this individual went directly from saying like, no, it's not, she's not really whatever, to being to attacking the other members of the group, basically saying like, if they weren't so lazy, then maybe they would have a song. I don't specifically know what the idea was, but then I made the mistake, which is why I'm involved in this little flop here, of replying to that tweet saying like, how is any of that, what they're liking on social media and whatever kind of shit, how is any of that relevant to just the general feeling and the perception from a group of fans, that over the last few years, CL has been favored over the rest of the group by YG Entertainment. And then that opened up a huge other can of worms, and I got a bunch of other responses and stuff like that, where people didn't really address the issue. I mean, kind of really, but of course, then they put me down in the process of doing that. So that's awesome. I love it. It was my first ever interaction on Twitter with those kinds of people, which surprisingly was, as far as the whole experience, was much worse than anything I've ever gotten on YouTube, which is awesome. And so that also just kind of reaffirmed and strengthened the idea of the kind of people that I would like in my community, because there should never be anybody who is saying like, when I say like, I'm not even a fan of the group, so I don't feel one way or another about CL or any of the other members, and then saying like maybe you should educate yourself before you talk, before you say anything, because that's kind of the point of having a discussion, right? Is like I don't know everything, so then you can fill me in with the information, right? Instead of just going immediately on the attack and saying that, and then say, oh well, maybe you should know these things before you say something. Like that's why I want to encourage positive discussion, even of opposing viewpoints, because down on the comments, because I think that's obviously it's super constructive. So I'm definitely not very familiar with 21 at all, and there was a good opportunity there for them to like for the people who got engaged or got involved to defend CL, because apparently I was a hater. It was a good opportunity for them to have a discussion on our opposing viewpoints that was positive and constructive, but instead they didn't want to go that way. And I was like, I'm not going to deal with you anymore, right? And so I've deleted all the tweets that I put out and engaged with them, and they're all blocked and all that stuff, because I mean those people and their mindset and their view that opposing viewpoints need to be attacked and destroyed, versus maybe that person doesn't know anything, or we could have a positive discussion where we can discuss and maybe learn a little bit more about the different perspective. I learned something. They don't learn anything, I don't think, but I've learned really that like, hey, those people aren't really what I want in the community. You already know that, because we're all about positive, constructive discussion about K-pop and stuff like that, down in the comments and through social media, regardless of what you think or what I think. Like this is music. It's all subjective, really. So that is that. It's the flop of the week is my part for engaging with the crazy fans, and also their part as well, because they're so blinded by their fandom that they can't consider that or can't come to have a good discussion with somebody who has an opposing viewpoint. So that is that. We're gonna do the flop of the week every once in a while, whenever I think that there's something that is a relatively large fail, whether it's like a fandom or an individual or a K-pop idol or something like that. We'll talk about it, not in like any sort of malicious way, but just to like have a discussion. That's what this is all about. I'm having a discussion. This is my part. This is my side of the discussion. And the comments and your responses and stuff like that is your side of the discussion. So moving on to the K-pop releases and stuff like that I covered this week. And the K-pop, the first week of K-pop this year was ridiculous. It was insanity. And I got started, I should say, with the first full-length album from AOA and their promotion songs, Bing Bang and Excuse Me. And I really, really enjoy Excuse Me. It's a really fantastic, super awesome, fun song. And the choreography, that little circle dance thing, is definitely the highlight of the song, because it just pairs so well with the audio that goes with it. And then Bing Bang, kind of boring. Actually, not kind of boring. It's super boring. I've even forgotten that it exists anymore. The only reason why I know is because it's listed on my upload list. It's kind of an exaggeration, but it's kind of just used. I'm exaggerating to emphasize like how boring that song is compared to others. And we're moving on. Second song, a completely different day. It's not specifically a K-pop song, although she is formerly a K-pop idol, and that is Jia, formerly I guess of Miss A, and her second solo song called Who's That Girl. And I like this song a lot more. As I said in my reaction video, I enjoyed this song significantly more than Drip. It just is a much more, I guess, pleasant, and just it feels just in a whole just better, and just better put together, I guess. I don't specifically know how to describe it or why, but I just liked it a lot better. Also, along with that idea, I covered Actong Musician and their newest song called Last Goodbye. Also super awesome. but it also was brought to my attention in the comments that if I had watched the pre-movie or whatever, that 20-minute long video that they released the day before, that I probably would have gotten a bit of an appreciation and all stuff for the context of the music video, and would have understood that a little bit more. But I didn't even consider that was actually something that was important to watch, or would have been important to watch, so I didn't. And I liked the song. It was a nice song. I mean, nothing any super crazy, not really my most favorite song from them, but it was okay. Moving from that, we're on to day number 3, January 4th, at least for me, as far as when I've uploaded videos. We got April and their song April Story, which is good. Also very good. I think probably, in my opinion, one of their best songs, if not their best song. My favorite, without a doubt, so that kind of plays into that. Top Secret, a boy group that made their debut with the song She, which these dudes showed like they got some crazy, awesome potential to be like basically any kind of group, any sort of concept and style that they want to be. They showed that they definitely have, the ability, in my opinion, to be a, relatively well-established group in K-pop. I don't know what their company can do as far as, promotions in the business side of things, but the future for me, at least the way that I look at them, is pretty hopeful. Third song for the day is Cosmic Girls and their song I Wish, which also, similar to April, this is my favorite song from them. And it's a nice song, and I'm really digging their visual vibe with every music video, because of course Cosmic Girls, they're keeping with that theme where everything is slightly like it's on a different planet, yet it is still of course Earth, because they can't go to a different planet, and it's just not, I don't think, really feasible to build completely new sets and all that and settings that look good. So I mean, I definitely do. I'm starting to, with every release that Cosmic Girls comes out with, I think that I'm enjoying them a lot more. So that is really awesome. Videos or songs that I covered on the 5th, the day after that, we got Mix and their song, which is just the worst English title of a song I've ever seen in my life, and it is Love is a Sudden. And like I said in my reaction video, I don't think that is the best translation of what the Korean is, but I do not specifically know. I don't really know. But it's a nice song. It's okay. They've kept with like the vibe, with the visual vibe and all that stuff a little bit, but the song, compared to their previous song with Oh My Mind, or Oh My Mind, however you want to call it, it's kind of boring and not really like, not that awesome. Like, it's not terrible, but at the same time, like that their debut song was, in my opinion, so much better, and I definitely liked it a lot more. And also alongside Mix, we had the debut of another boy group called Varsity with their song You Are My Only One, which also was pretty good. They were not super terrible, awful. I enjoyed them quite a lot, so there is that. The final releases of the week that I covered is Shinhwa and their song Touch, which is also pretty good. It was, Shinhwa's never been a group, obviously, because I was not in K-pop for like 90% of their career so far, so I don't specifically know, but Shinhwa's never been a group that's like really like, wowed me or amazed me, but it's just like not everything is going to be it. But the song was good. I enjoyed it. It was, pretty solid. And then we got Day 6 and their song I Wait, which is the first of like, I guess 12 songs that they're going to be releasing this year, or 12 singles, I suppose, that they will be releasing this year, which was awesome. They threw in a little bit of a pop punk kind of vibe in there, which was cool. Or as a commenter, kind of said that they originally came to K-pop from like J-rock and stuff, and it brought that person back. It gave them some J-rock vibes to it, which I would say is pretty accurate too. Pop punk, J-rock are the kind of the same-ish kind of sound, to me. So there is that. And then we got NCT 127 and the song Limitless, which I would have made the video for that sooner than I did if I hadn't like goofed on or misread what the title of the music videos were, because there was the rough version and then the dance version, and I was like, there's gonna be like a full version, full like an actual legit music video, because rough version isn't really what you would name your actual release music video. But we did the music video reaction to the dance version, and I enjoyed the song. It was cool. Of course, it was a change of pace for them as far as the genre and all that stuff, but that's, I guess expected. They add a bunch of different new members to the group and have shifted the genre. Of course, you can't do the same thing constantly because then it becomes boring. So there is that. So we're gonna finish it off with the final segment for the show, which is a little bit of K-pop news. So first off, just briefly touch on, because I've already made news videos for these, but briefly touch on Twice and their song TT hitting 100 million views. That is every single song that they've released reached 100 million views, and this one is the fastest music video to reach that total ever. And of course, they beat out themselves and their previous release for that, and they did it in, I think it was 71 days, which is pretty crazy. And of course, which is pretty crazy. Also, there was the news that 21 is going to be releasing a final goodbye song, which we kind of talked about that a little bit in my flop of the week, but I think it's awesome that they're going to be releasing a song. Minzy, I don't believe, is going to actually be a part of it. I haven't heard anything about that, but it's good that that the group isn't just going to like spend 2 years slowly dying and then just they vanish without going right. Basically, they're just going to sink without a trace. And that would suck. So at least the fans get a final song, which is super duper awesome. And then other points of other video news things that I'm going to be covering in specific videos coming up in the future, and that is the I guess uncertainty on whether or not Wonder Girls are going to be renewing their contract with JYP Entertainment, because I believe from what I've heard is that their contract expires next month at some point. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I've heard that some of the members want to do music, other members want to do acting, want to go into acting instead. So who exactly knows how that's going to go? And it'll be interesting. I mean, I've seen some people who are, we'll get into it. We'll get into the whole, what I think about it, and, my commentary on some of the reactions and stuff that people have, had to the news. But it's all at the time that the news came out, it was all, of course, a big mess. People were panicked and, oh my God, going crazy about it. But, people just got to be calm and think. And I don't know, I guess not be selfish is really the best way to describe it, because of course people don't want to disband, so they're freaking out like, I don't want them to disband, they shouldn't disband. I hope JYP, I want JYP to do all these things and stuff to make sure that they don't disband, but like, it's not down to what JYP wants. Ultimately, it's down to what these grown women want to do with their careers, but we'll get into that more in the future. And then final bit of news is that we have seen rumors, or it was revealed but then denied by SM Entertainment, that Crystal from FX is going to be having a solo release coming in February. And of course, SM has said that nothing has been decided as of yet, which is like them basically saying, as they always do, like, it's gonna happen, but we just really didn't want to officially, we didn't want it to be known now. Give us some time to craft a little announcement and stuff like that, and then it'll be out and it'll be good. So that's an interesting prospect, or an interesting thing to think about possibly happening in the future, because for me personally, I've really enjoyed, like, from last year, every single solo release from every SM performer or idol that was out there. They were spectacularly good, really awesome. So if they can just get more of their idols doing solo work, I think that would be spectacularly awesome, and I don't see why it would be bad. It also, as I always say too, would be really nice to see her, performing on her own outside of her group. I mean, I'm always interested to see a member of a K-pop group go out and perform a song or have a career on their own, just because it kind of changes the whole dynamic, and they don't have anybody else to, like, rely on, or they don't have to support anybody, or nobody has to support them. They don't have any, the whole group dynamic just melts away and they have to survive on their own merits. So it's going to be interesting how that goes. And I guess that's also paired with the confirmed solo release that Hyoyeon is going to be having this year. Although, of course, further details of that haven't been revealed. But that's basically, that's basically confirmed to be happening. I do believe, unless I'm mistaken. So that is what I have got. Yeah, 25 minutes, half an hour, man. If you guys made it all the way to the end of this, I do appreciate it. We're going to do these every single Sunday. And in the future, it's probably going to be much longer. I know that the most recent one that I did was probably about 40 minutes long. But I know for sure one segment that I'm going to have, which I didn't really give myself the time to, put together, is highlighting some fan comments, the best fan comment or comments and video comments that I receive over the last week. So, get to comments and leave some top quality comments. Get some good discussion started and stuff, and you could see your comment highlighted in this video as one of the best comments of the week. So do that, do whatever, share this video, do whatever it is that you got to do, interact in whichever way, leave a comment, leave your question that you want to see me answer as another, in the Q&A segment for next week. And that is basically going to be it. So, bye, I guess. I'm not really going to, we got to do the actual outro before we do that, though. So that is going to be it for this video. As always, I'm going to thank you for watching. We'll see you all next time.